and go live. Welcome to the 500 section lounge. We are live in the lounge. Gentlemen, how are we today?
Happy Sunday, everybody. It's happy grab a listen day around here.
Yeah. It's a Sunday. There's sports going on. It's not looking too nice outside for us in Indiana.
My grass is liking it. My grass is liking it though.
Yeah, the yards are nice. The yards are really liking it.
It's been raining for about 3 hours, and I think my ground's already dry.
Got that high-powered air pressure underneath the grass, just sucking out all that moisture, man. I hear you.
Well, no, it was such a crazy summer.
In the dirt.
yeah. My backyard, which is freshly planted grass and then freshly dead grass, it has cracks in it, and it accepts that water really nicely.
Enjoys it. No complaints here.
Yeah, if it gets dry enough, it just aerates itself.
Yeah.
So Sam, we're live. We're live in the lounge.
We are.
So people can comment on this live in the lounge.
They can. If they're watching, they can comment. Yes.
And after that, they can comment live to the stream.
Sure. Yeah. Yep. They can post comments at any point, be it during the live recording, which is right now, or if they go and watch it later, they can make that comment. Now, once it's on YouTube, which will be in a couple of days, they won't be able to comment necessarily directly while they're watching on YouTube, but they'd have to go find it and post a comment to it. Or they can comment on YouTube. There's all that possibility,
So Friday night I had one of those little hot pocket little hot hands. Took about 20 minutes until it totally ripped and was all over my inside of my pants. Goodness. And my hands were very dark for the last.
I bet.
Does that warm up or cool down once it breaks open?
It was so hot in my pocket. It like the grains of it was just on fire. And so then I ended up dumping it out of my pocket right on the turf. And I was like, I wonder if that'll leave a mark.
I think we should ask our guest that if he's ever had a hot hands break open while he was using it. What do you think?
Real quick though, with the hot pocket shortage, I was hoping you weren't using a hot pocket to warm your hands.
Yeah. Why use that for during the shortage? Come on.
I didn't find out until yesterday that there was a shortage, but was extremely disappointed.
Oh, well, our guest, guys, Tavarus Hogans. We've had him on the show before. He was a great guest. We wanted to bring him in live in the lounge because you know what? He is just a great guy to talk to, and I think we're going to enjoy ourselves. What do you say we bring him in?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Do it. Tavarus, welcome.
Hey. What's going on?
Not a whole lot. Hey, we were just chatting. And by the way, thank you for joining us today.
Yes,
this is great having you live and seeing you face to face.
Thanks for having me.
Heck yeah. So question for you. We were just talking, Richie, actually, why don't you go ahead and share your predicament that you ran into?
Well, I was on the side. So Indiana, it was a little bit cold. I was on the sideline Friday night, and my hand warmer, not the muff, but the actual
hot hands,
hot hands. There you go. It completely ripped after about 20 minutes of use, and all the grains of it were in my pocket. And so my hand ended up being very, very black for 2 days. And it was and the grains of it was just hot. So what's the worst experience cold weather game you've ever played in, Tavarus?
Cold weather game.
Probably not a bunch, but maybe some.
First off, did you ever have a hot hands break while you were holding it?
Never. I really wasn't a hot hands guy. Believe it or not, football players are crazy. You know how it is, guys. When I was coming up, when I was in college, David Boston from Ohio State, he was just a dynamic receiver. And I remember he used to go out there with no sleeves on and no gloves. And for me, he just took mental toughness to another level. So I'm a Florida boy living in Nashville. And listen, Nashville isn't as cold as Chicago and Indiana and some of those states, but it does get cold, especially for Floridian. And I just told myself, no matter how cold it was, I mean, I would still wear gloves just because, you know, I'm a pretty boy. I had to protect the hands, but I was not going to wear sleeves at all. So there would be days, you know, my blood got thick, my skin got used to it. I remember it would be snowing and I would walk out sometimes out in the snow with my shirt off just so
Oh.
people would know and understand I'm that crazy. So for me, the cold weather is more about intimidation factor. And it got to a point where I wouldn't even know how cold it was. I was so infatuated with psyching out the opponent. The weather, it became a non-issue for me. So unfortunately, I can't even think of an opportunity.
Now, were there times where you're doing the intimidation, but you're walking out going, man, this was a horrible choice?
Oh yeah. Listen, as you're leaving the locker room, you know, the warm locker room, and it first hits you, you're like, man, this intimidation is coming at a cost. I'm pretty sure when I was in high school, though, I didn't have the mental toughness that I developed in college. But yeah, some of that mental edge, it comes at a price now.
Oh, I can only imagine.
Well, I was gonna say David Boston probably didn't wear the sleeves because he was a beast. He just had to show them off.
Oh, absolutely. But just imagine it's, you know, -2 degrees. David Boston is across from you. You know, you've got your sleeves and your muff and everything on, and he's out there with no sleeves, no gloves, no nothing. Like, you're just like, man, this guy's about to maul me.
Well, from what I remember, he had a pretty good college career too.
Yeah, he was good. He was good.
Pretty good.
But
Hey,
unfortunately, Richie, I don't have a cold
That's all
weather
right.
story.
I like the mentality though, the tough mentality. Not you know, go get it, get after it without worrying.
Yeah.
So we follow you on the Instagram, Tavarus.
Yes,
And
thank you.
I've been seeing some videos or at least some pictures of you busting it out in the weight room. Can you talk? Is that a new thing, or is that kind of you just have kept that up since you've left college and that's just a thing you do, or is this something that you've started doing again?
So after playing sports, I always maintain a decent weight, decent shape. Um, Football being just an extremely aggressive sport, in order for me to keep my body looking decent, I have to have aggressive workouts if I'm not doing a lot of running and boxing and different things like that. So I've been fortunate. When I lived in Tampa, I knew a lot of people. So I could do almost any kind of workout on any day. I could spin, I could do boxing, I could go out and run, I could get a beach run. There were a whole host of dynamic workouts that I could do. When we moved to Jacksonville, the gym culture is a little bit different than Tampa. You know, Jacksonville is not quite as pretentious about themselves as the Tampa Bay community is.
Okay, that's well said.
Yeah, so finding an aggressive dynamic workout is a bit challenging. What you've seen is CrossFit. I just joined this gym recently called CrossFit Tailwinds, and I had tried CrossFit before, but it was a little bit, I wouldn't say too aggressive, but some of the movements, maybe I wasn't coached properly. But now that I'm a little bit wiser and know my body a lot better and understand what limits I'm willing to take my body to, I can go as hard as I need to go. And then I'm intelligent enough. I'm not the 21-year-old college athlete with the sleeves off when it's -2 degrees. I'm intelligent enough to back away from a workout. But yeah, I have to do aggressive movements, and that's what you've been seeing lately.
Yeah, I mean, I'm watching. I'm like, man, I don't know. I got this pinched nerve in my neck. You know, I'm making those excuses. You know,
we will unpinch it. Like, we will loosen that thing up.
Man, Tavarus, I did CrossFit one time with one of my buddies, and I had trouble walking for about 5.5 days. I was, it was the first time, and like I never lifted, you know, like a college athlete ever, but did CrossFit one time, and it was one of the toughest weeks afterwards I've ever had.
that one time was the toughest week of your life.
I was like, all right, I don't think I'm ever gonna do that again, just because I think I'm out of
Yeah.
shape. Can't. It killed me.
I've driven past some CrossFit places.
Did you get sore?
A little bit.
See, here's the thing. You guys are too young right now. You have so much raging energy that CrossFit is too much for you.
Oh,
If you
bless your
come
heart,
to,
Tavarus.
I'm telling you, if you come to our gym, we're all about safety, doing movements the right way, and making sure that you can work out next week. Now, trust me, I'm sore like literally after every workout, and I think it's just because my body's bummy, but we make sure that we keep safety and as much soreness as as a priority. So we're trying to get you back in the gym, not just one
Yeah.
workout.
I
So
got you.
Tavarus, you also host a podcast.
I do.
And
yes.
how's that going? I haven't had a chance. My job has gotten a lot crazy recently that I haven't had a chance to catch up with you with your podcast. How are things going with your podcast?
Yeah, so I have so much respect for podcasters because when I first got in the game, I was hosting a podcast for this corporate company that I was working for. And I still host it, but at that point in time, I was only hosting it. I was able to go on, bring on guests, record, send all the raw footage to an editor, and the editor did everything.
Aha.
And I thought I was so amazing because I would listen to the final cut and I'd be like, man, that didn't sound anything like what I thought we recorded. So when I transitioned to doing my own podcast, and it took me 3 hours to edit my first show, I got a lot more respect for podcasters. And I say all that to say it's been an interesting ride. I'm in season 2 right now.
Okay.
Of my podcast, and I had to transition because it takes a lot of time to edit regardless. And right now, season 2 is about a solo podcast for me. So I'm picking topics and I'm doing them solo, but I love the interview style podcast. So when I transition from this to season 3, I'll go back to the interview format. But what I needed to do was get some insurance. I needed to put some episodes in the kitty versus having to record and post, record and post, record and post. So
we did that as well. We were at one point, like when we had you on the first time, we recorded Sunday, and that new show with you on it was out on Monday the next day.
I remember talking about it.
And that made for a very late night for me.
Yes, sir.
So what we do now is we're a week ahead. We do it a week ahead. That way it's not such a late night anymore. And that's, and I totally get what you're saying, that, you know, you think, oh, that didn't sound too bad. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I got to do all this. Yeah.
Right,
right. Yeah. Richie,
but,
beep.
But it's great. Yeah. It's another one of those opportunities to discipline myself because, you know, when the work gets hard, it's easy to quit, but
sure.
I started it and I have to finish it. So it's been great, to tell you the truth.
That, and you have a certain expectation of what you want it to sound like. So you have that place where you want it to be. So you know how hard you have to work to get it to that point. And it's a little bit more than you might think sometimes. So, hey guys, I wanted to mention that the mayor is watching us right now. So
I saw that pop up.
The mayor of Uranus, Tavarus, is one of our friends, and he is watching us right now. So
what's going on, Mayor?
We did our 50th show just our Labor Day weekend we did Live in the Lounge from Uranus, and then we recorded our 50th from Uranus as well. So and it's everything you actually think it is.
We had a sword swallower.
Yes, right? It was amazing. Yeah, you ever seen a sword swallower right up front, like right close to you?
Not at all.
Well, I can tell you, if you want to go to YouTube, on our YouTube channel, we do have that footage there. It was pretty insane. It was a good show, but anyways, we got a little sidetracked there.
We talked a little bit. You talked very highly of Tony Dungy last time we were on. What was your relationship with your position coaches, and how much did you lean on your specific position coach as opposed to like the OC or the head coach?
Yeah, so you guys want the truth. You always try to pull the truth out of me.
We're hard hitting.
My relationship with the position coach, our receiver coach, he was a great guy. I think he was from South Carolina or something like that. Whenever I was with the Bucks, they called me the professor. And listen, not to gloat my Vanderbilt background, but education has always been important to me.
Yeah.
When we got there, we were learning a new offense. Les Steckel was the offensive coordinator. Fortunately, he was at Tennessee, and I knew a little bit about their offense being in Nashville and being able to see that offense up close and personal. But whenever you bring in a new offense in, everybody's kind of learning it at the same time. And the position coaches, while they had more exposure to less, like I said, they're learning a new playbook at the same time everybody else is. And I just happened to grasp it probably a lot faster than some other people in the meeting room. And there were times where there was confusion, and I didn't want to seem like that guy, but I had to clear up the confusion a lot of times. And not that I had a bad relationship with the position coach or anything. Think about training camp. The thing about the NFL that's different than college. Prior to the season, you have probably 16 people in that meeting room. At best, 8 of them are going to stay. So people aren't trying to, you're not forging a brotherhood at that point. So nobody's getting all warm and fuzzy. It's business at the end of the day. So I guess I went the long way to answering your question. It was a business relationship. He was there to get certain results, and I was there to provide those results.
I've always wondered that, because it is a business and there's so much, even in college and in the NFL, there's so much writing on performance of athletes and performance of coaching. Is it just an understanding of, I want what's best for you to do what's best for us? For each individually, though, we both are prosperous if we both work well and are successful.
Yeah, and it's different with different teams. I mean, you see organizations that are perennial playoff teams, their meeting rooms look different than some of the teams that are in and out of the playoffs. The coaching staff, are revolving coaching staffs. The teams that have leadership in meeting rooms for 4, 5, 6 years, that's when those relationships are built over time. But teams that aren't going to the playoffs, they're rotating players in and out every 2 years. There's no tenure, so there's no real relationships. But I mean, Tom Brady is probably the worst example we can use, but let's use it. He had great relationships, even though it doesn't look like he had the greatest relationship with Belichick.
Right.
They had to have a good relationship to be together for that long. And like with any family, you're going to have disagreements, but the longer you're around somebody, obviously the more those relationships are going to grow.
Have you seen the new Belichick Subway commercial?
I have.
Matt, you know what that did for Matt? It made him decide he's going to Penn Station all the time instead.
I like it. Here, I want to tip my cap to Belichick, because for so many years I gave him a hard time because of the attitude he displayed on the sideline and his mannerisms. And I'm pretty sure he heard it from somebody else. But my thing about life and sports and anything, if you're going to do it, try to find enjoyment in it. And Belichick would get win after win after win, and he would just seem like he's dissatisfied. And I understand, after week 8, we can't act like we just won the Lombardi trophy. But after we win the Lombardi trophy, let's act like we won the Lombardi trophy.
Right.
Like let's be excited about it. And the thing is, like, Belichick, he would teach and preach to his players, when you make plays, let's be enthused, let's be infectious, let's get excited, let's high five and all of that. But I felt like I needed that from Belichick also. And I'm going to say this about Belichick and Nick Saban, because I think both of them have been guilty, but I do feel like they're enjoying their success more now. So I want to tip my cap to both of those guys.
What do you think that changes?
Man, I think I think it's maturity. I think it's evolution. I think as guys, especially football players and coaches, we're taught that we have to be tough. We have to be hard drivers. We have to be this. We have to be that. So there comes a point where we're comfortable with who we are, and it doesn't matter what everybody thinks about us. If I'm happy, I'm going to show that emotion. Now, there is a little bit of poker in it when you're trying to motivate a team and all of that. But I think, with Belichick and Saban, they understand that they can celebrate and be happy at the end of the game, and it doesn't take away from who they are.
Okay. Yeah.
I believe it's maturity.
Yeah.
I think one of my favorite things.
No, go ahead.
One of my favorite things I saw this year was Belichick sitting at a podium with his cutoff shirt, and they had like 3 holes right here, and it was all ragged hoodie, and it said, "If you didn't know who this was, what would you think he did today?"
It's true. It's true.
Yeah.
Belichick is one of those that I don't have any hate for him because I'm not a Colts fan, but it's just one of those that he always seemed like he was playing 4-dimensional chess and everybody else was still playing checkers. I honestly did. And that may be a little bit of what he had in Tom Brady and stuff. And I know, Matt, you won't agree with that. I know you won't.
I'm the opposite. I think with the success he's had with other quarterbacks, I'd have to say it's more. I would always throw it more on his side of the plate than Brady's. I'm not saying Brady's horrible, but
so you're in agreement with that statement that I just made. Then he's a little bit ahead of the game than others in that aspect.
For various reasons.
Yeah, but you're even though you you got some cameras,
needles for the footballs.
Yeah,
I respect him though, man. I respect Belichick a lot. He's been so successful for so long. I mean, that's where I come in with it.
Yeah, go ahead, Sam.
Go ahead. Oh,
man,
I was just gonna say, how many people who all did that Browns coaching staff have on it that just blew up? It was him. It was
Mike Holmgren was on that.
Yeah.
Wasn't Mariucci on that staff too?
I think so. Yeah.
There was some craziness going on.
It's quite
there.
A tree.
Yeah.
I would have loved to have seen that happen. I mean, they were on the way.
And how do you explain that all those coaches are on the same coaching staff and the Browns were still a dumpster fire like they are today, or leading up to this year anyways?
Well, I think that year they were headed to the playoffs. Did they make the playoffs that year?
His last year, I think they missed the playoffs. Then they fired him and moved to Baltimore.
Yeah. They were building something great in Cleveland. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
And that's probably the best they've been in a while. But yeah, I mean, what happened is what you just said. They fired the staff and then they packed everything up and slid away. And
went to Baltimore, and all of a sudden they became really, really good, and it's not a change in scenery, just from one city to another. You've got to have the horses in the stable, but it baffles me that Belichick, who, we know who he is now as a coach, was fired because he couldn't get the job done in Cleveland, but yet that same team goes to Baltimore and turns into one of the best defenses in NFL history, wins a Super Bowl.
Adding Ray Lewis to that team didn't hurt.
I've got a question for you though, Sam.
Okay.
If the team doesn't move to Baltimore, does Belichick get fired?
See, I don't know. Maybe not. Because if they're not moving, why make the change when they're on their way up? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't think he gets fired if they stay, because they were headed where they were trying to go for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, they had their guys.
And it's probably why Cleveland's so mad even more at the, the move is we had that team and now look what we're stuck with. They had to be an expansion team.
We took Baltimore's team that was a dumpster fire for 15, 20 years.
Right. And in fairness, for another 15 or 20 years, they weren't the greatest in Indianapolis either.
Yeah.
They were like back when the Rays were a dumpster fire, and barely pulling in 5,000 people, rallies and checkers. Those restaurants were giving away tickets to the games if you had one of the cups.
Yeah.
Like you take the cup and you get a ticket.
Like 2 free tickets with it. Yeah, it's 2 free tickets with a meal.
That's about what the
Big-
that's about what the
Big
Colts were
Buford
in
in a
Indy.
ticket.
That's about
Big
what the
Buford.
Colts were in Indy until what was it, 98 or 99 that Manning came in?
I think Razor Shines probably put more butts in the stands than most of the Colts did. We sold some tickets for Harbaugh though.
Yeah, Captain Comeback, isn't that what he was?
Yep.
So Tavarus, we did the little pre-talk before we started, and you're like, I'm not a sports fan, but yet that's about all we've talked about this whole time.
I mean, I can talk shop, but I honestly don't watch
Mhm.
much sports. Like, I'm so consumed with trying to transition my life and honestly put some coins in my bank account that I don't have 4 hours to watch a game, but I do have 4 hours to play golf from time to time.
There you go.
Well, you can make that a business thing too if you want. You know, you can take make it a business meeting if you so choose. You know,
They become expensive business meetings though.
well,
How's your
maybe.
golf game, Tavarus? How are you at golf? I'm terrible. I'm terrible
Yeah.
at golf.
So listen, my golf game is amazing because I've come to terms with where it is. I don't practice. All I do is play, and I don't play enough to shoot in the 80s or even consistently in the 90s. So my goal is to break 100. And if I break 100, it's an amazing day. It's just like I won a green jacket. If I shoot, 100 to 110, that's about par for the course for me.
So you enjoy going out and cutting it up out there and having a good time.
Man, I just love being out in nature, not
Mhm.
cooped up in the office or the studio, and just being out there with friends, socializing. That's what it is for me.
That's great. That's a great way to look at it, because I tell you, I'm probably about 115 to 120 on a really, really good day. So
Yeah, and if I have to use less than a dozen balls, I'm good. If I use more than a dozen balls, then it's a bad day.
Yeah,
I've gotten to the point where I don't keep score, just so I'm not totally obliterated by a 150 or whatever.
I do that. I do that often. That
Well,
really
I've
makes
always
for a
found
good
too-
round.
I've
did
always
well.
found when you talk to people, you can tell who's. It's always funny when people tell you I shoot about an 85 every week, and then you go play with them and they shoot a 98, and you're like, oh, I just had a bad week.
No.
No.
Yeah, they
No.
they didn't count that penalty. They didn't count
Mhm.
that stroke. They
Yeah.
didn't count that extra putt. They didn't count this.
That was not a gimme. That was 10 feet away.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, when they missed the 1-footer, they counted. Nah.
Yeah. I'm gonna count that. Some flash a light over there got me, or what? No, you missed it. Come on, dude.
Yeah, we're counting that.
But I will tell you this, and I want to say it live and publicly. I am available for any golf scramble, and I'm a great partner. I can hit it long, and I can putt.
There we go. See, my problem is I can't drive it, and I can't do a real short. Like, I never use a tee. I always, whenever I tee off, I'm going from the on the grass.
Yeah.
I did ask. I forget who it was. Well, I believe it was Carl Barth, our professional mini golfer, but he does know the rulings. You don't have to use a tee on the tee box, and I don't, because if I do, I pop it straight in the air, and it only goes about 110 yards.
Yeah, so let me restate that. I'm available to play in any scramble with anybody but Sam.
Hey, I can hit the decent mid-range iron shot, and I can putt pretty decently. So we're both pretty strong there. But yeah, it's rough.
I've been getting a little better. I'm at that point where my swing is better and I hit the ball better, but my score went up because I'm at different distances than I'm used to. So I'm hitting all new clubs and different shots. And yeah, I can get like one or two things working, and then everything else just falls apart.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
Tavarus,
that's
go
why
ahead.
my focus is just enjoying the game.
Yeah. And see, that's the big thing is I like being out with the people that I'm playing with, and I like being outside. That outside part is really big. I spend all my days inside working most of the time. That I don't want that.
Tavarus, do you walk it or you cart it?
It depends. The majority of the time I cart. I've played some decent courses, and if I'm playing like a a PGA course or something like that, I really enjoy walking it because I want the experience that Rory has and, you know, Cooch and all of those guys,
Yeah.
Bubba Watson. I want that real experience. So
Yeah.
I hadn't walked a lot of courses. I've been able to walk a few, but I mostly drive.
Fantastic. Well, Tavarus, we're running right up on it. I appreciate you giving us all this time. This is always fun. I always like talking to you. I like shooting you messages on Facebook, and I know I'm always going to get a good conversation out of you. So I'm so happy and glad that you were able to make time for us today. I really do appreciate it.
I appreciate it. Also, I got to let you know I'm getting ready to do a podcast with a friend of mine here in Jacksonville.
Okay.
I forget what the third thing was, but we're going to talk religion. We're going to talk politics. And there are like 3 things you're never supposed to talk about. We're talking about all of them. So just letting you guys know.
Go.
And is that coming up soon?
It'll probably be out. We'll record it hopefully this month. I probably won't release it until November, December. We'll wait till after.
Here I thought you were going to say November 4th or 3rd.
Never know. You never know. It'll be recorded prior to that, so we'll see.
Well, founder of True 7 Life, Tavarus Hogans. You're a podcaster. The name of the podcast is True 7 Life, correct?
True 7 Life podcast.
Okay, and you also are a former wide receiver for the Vanderbilt Commodores. I'm sorry what LSU did to you guys yesterday.
I didn't even see it, but I appreciate the apology.
Didn't even see it.
Tavarus, we really do greatly appreciate it. And you know what? Keep in touch, and we'll talk to you soon again.
Thank you. And visit me at www.true7cbd.com. Also, don't forget about my health and wellness line.
Yes. Sorry. You know what? When it's live, I make a lot of mistakes.
He likes to edit too.
I meant to plug, well, you can't edit the live.
Richie, don't let him pull that out.
Nope. Will not. Go visit Tavarus, listen to his podcast. He's a great listen, and you're a great conversation, Tavarus. I really appreciate it.
Hey, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks for being here. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
All right. Well, what do you think? He's always a good conversation, isn't he?
We're still recording.
Oh yeah,
right?
I didn't.
Yeah, we're still on.
It's awesome.
Couple more minutes.
We're recording and streaming, I think.
Yeah, we're doing both. We're still recording and streaming. Yes.
And stream. No, he's great, man. I love talking to him. He's got such a level-headed mind and all the experience, and he's a great conversation, like you said.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, hey, he was right there at the end telling his website address and everything. Let's see, who do I pick on? Eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
Not this one.
Not the top. Not Matt.
I was gone last week.
Oh, you still know it, Matt. If we're going to tell our listeners what we want or where we want to, geez, oh Pete's, good thing this is live, huh?
That's a good thing. We could have edited that if it wasn't live.
So Matt, if our listeners want a list of things, all 500 Section Lounge, meaning our website, our social media, our platforms that we appear on, our YouTube channel, what phrase are they going to send to 31996?
500 Section.
Attaboy. I was going to leave
31996.
I was going to leave a break in there just to see if you screwed it up. Yeah, 500 section, all one word or all together, to 31996, Richie. And you get that link that you tap that, and you've got the list of everything 500 Section Lounge.
Straight to the merch shop too.
Yeah. Coffee mug, treating you nice.
Mug. Treat me very
That's
nice.
right. So we got a new deconstructed logo shirt on there. I don't know if you guys saw that.
No,
I didn't see it yet.
That one yet.
Yeah, we pulled it apart and made it the logo, the 500 Section Lounge words on the front, and then the arrow is on one sleeve and the grab a listen's on the other, and then on the back it says Loyal Lounger up by the collar. It's a sharp looking t-shirt.
Check that out.
Oh,
Yeah, it's a sharp look.
I know.
It's a sharp looking t-shirt. But yeah, if you send 500 Section to 31996, you'll get a link to the website where you can find the store to go buy that shirt. Sounds like a winner to me.
Everything 500 Lounge related.
That's right. So gentlemen, great time today. Let's take a break and let's go record us another episode.
Sounds good.
All right. Hey, loungers, we appreciate you. And you know what? Make sure you're always there to grab a listen.
Grab a listen.
Grab a listen.